And all back to what we were talking about, and the fact that where do you say whether somebody should live or die based on whether they're good or bad, and who determines what's good and bad, and who sets these rules, and so I don't think that you can offer the death penalty in like an imperfect society. To have the ultimate punishment is wrong, I think, because there's no way to just say, well, yeah, that guy's guilty. You look at all these people now that are coming back, and because of the DNA, that were innocent, and now who knows? Like, okay, well, DNA proves that you're wrong, but now is there a way to mask the DNA or something like that?
Oh, if they wanted to, right? I bet you we're there technology-wise. Yeah. I bet you we're there. I would have to look more into it, but you're talking about, we live in a world now where you can do CRISPR. They can extract and put in DNA. You're telling me they can't forge DNA? There's got to be a way to do that.
So and even if there isn't this year, maybe 10 years from now.
Yeah, or it's ain't that far off.
Yeah, you still have that where now you're given the ultimate punishment for, and who sets whether the guy's, oh, well, I saw him do it. Yeah. It's like, well, I saw a bird come and pick up a baby. Didn't make it real, right?
Oh, well, that's true too.
The stuff that's on there online now, that everybody just kind of just flocks to it. It's like, oh yeah, I know, I saw it happen. It's like, well,
those videos, man, some of the videos, I remember when things were really peaking there, and you were getting all these videos about like people that were not good or whatever, and then they would show you. So they show you like a clip, and it's like one woman and another one, and they're yelling, and the one like clearly just looks evil. You're like, oh, this girl, she just hates people, right?
Yeah.
But then they go and they like show the entire footage or a different angle and like all the footage or something, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I get where this human being's coming from now. Like, you know, there's more going on here. It's not like this person just came and like did something. And I think that's something a lot of us seem to forget, is like, when bad things happen often, people don't just like do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very rare that somebody is just like, I'm gonna just do bad stuff. Like, yeah, there seems to always be something that kind of either what have you. Like, once you start digging, like I was saying with that one killer, they started digging and they're like, oh, like his brain is completely damaged. Oh, yeah. You know? So now that you know that information, it's like, do you still punish him in a way that, you know, he's just this evil person? Or are you starting to realize that maybe he's just somebody who has a brain injury, like however you want to see it, right?
Yeah.
Like therapy, medication, what have you. And then some people get extremely upset about that. The idea of pleading insanity, which was odd because I remember when I was in school and we talked about that. They had said that it's actually a lot harder, and on average, if you end up, at least here in Canada, on average, if you end up pleading insanity, you end up there longer.
Well, there was that guy that from the Greyhound.
The Greyhound, that's a classic, like,
and he's out now, and he doesn't even have to, like, that's the part.
Yeah, but that was like what, 7 years or something. He was, I think longer than that. He was gone for a while though. It wasn't that short.
But for what he did.
Yeah, but murder here is like 5 years, dude. They get out on good behavior. It's crazy.
But what he did though, and it's one thing if like in my eyes anyway, it's one thing if you went out and say somebody wrecked your car and it pissed you off and killed the guy.
Yeah, so manslaughter.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no. Like, you actually went and killed the guy.
Oh, like first degree?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he wrecked your car and it was your prized possession or whatever, right? But you went and you killed the guy. And you did that. Something put you over the edge and you snap. This guy, they know that he, because he wasn't on his medication, that he was, like, insane.
Yeah.
So,
because I think, wasn't he actually a schizophrenic?
Yeah. Yeah. And so now they're saying, okay, well, you're free to go, and we're not going to monitor your medication to make sure that you're...
you don't think anyone's monitoring his medication?
No, they stopped it. That was a big thing in the news the last time.
Oh, they actually said that?
Yeah. He no longer has to have somebody monitor his medication.
Yeah, but was that after a certain amount of period, and then these doctors released him or what have you?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but he still has a condition.
But then, no, agreed. His condition wasn't fixed. Agreed, 100%. But then, I guess, so now what you're pulling in is an entirely different part of the conversation, because now you're going, this is another thing that people get caught up in, but if I have someone who's a professional and now they've said, this is okay, what I've always found really fascinating is that like we as a society rely on that a lot, right? Like, oh, the doctor said this. But then when you bring up to somebody like, hey, that's a doctor, that's a human, just like you and I, like, they're not always there. Sometimes they make mistakes, whatever, right? But it's amazing how many people, like, what's the word for it? Well, I guess they idolize them so much that they believe that they're just on some other level of humanity, as if like your opinion is lower than theirs, right? Which I've always thought was strange, because I've always been, and actually this was like a quote from like Brad Pitt or whatever, but I always have believed that you can learn anything. And I think like I could take pretty much any human being, and the way he said it was, you can learn anything, it's just some things are going to take longer than others to learn. Yeah. And I totally believe that mantra. Like, there's been nothing in my life that if I haven't spent the time to try and figure it out, that I haven't been able to yet. Yeah. Right?
Oh, totally.
So, but these human beings, so most people, I think, or at least like in general, or I hear it a lot, is like, oh, well, that's my doctor, or, oh, well, that's my lawyer, or oh, that's my accountant. It's like, you're not wrong. They're really good at that thing that they do. But I think you gotta look into these things yourself, right? Like,
totally.
You gotta put a little bit of effort in and figure out like, hey, is what this person's telling me? Because like you're saying there, isn't that a little weird? Know this guy hopped off his meds. He's done this thing before. Well, are we cool with that? You know what I mean?
That goes back to the original of what's right and what's wrong. Like, and who do we allow tell us what's right and wrong? Is it okay? The doctor says that this guy's crazy, and so we just say, okay, well, we believe that he's crazy. That's wrong. So now he stays in jail. Like, and so where do you draw the line on what's right and what's wrong? But I don't know. I think
usually
in society,
money. Yeah, usually money and who you know, and unfortunately, right?
Yeah, I think in society though, like if it's hurt somebody and whatnot, and that's the whole thing though, is like you can go around in circles of like. That guy could have just
like trying to figure out that line you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy could have been a guinea pig too, right? Like the likelihood of it is probably a lot less likely. But who knows? Maybe it was somebody else on the bus, and maybe it was the police chief's son, and so they kind of hurried him away, and they grabbed this guy that was kind of a little bit of a loose cannon, and they pinned it on him, right? I'm not saying that.
No, that's definitely not what happened there.
No,
but yeah,
I think this guy was chewing on somebody's ear. Or
yeah, like no. So this narrative that you're talking about is something that's like very probable, right? Like there has been situations where political figures or people of power have buried ideas and stuff like that, and got their people out to like, and then just pushed it on to somebody else. Like that narrative exists, right?
Yeah.
Right. But human beings, right? We're always, like is always protecting like, and it's kind of wild.
You should fire up the barbecue.
You ready to eat or what?
Well, this won't be ready to eat. That'll be at least an hour or so.
Okay. Well, then I'll fire it up. What are you going to do? You're just going to stand here? You're going to talk to everyone on the camera?
No.
No. They're staring at me. Do you want to do a break now?
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah?
No.
I think we kind of got to a good place. You can